Hi everybody. I know it's been quite a while because of many reasons, and we've had some company and just everything, but everybody's fine. And we had that terrible hot, 140, unbelievable, in the shade. And on this patio, the orchids have had 140 easily because it's all glass. It does have the shade cover, and I'm going to show you them after we finish doing what we have to do in here. So I have been meaning to, this is the orchid that I first put in glass November 2022. Since that day, I have not checked the pot. Bad girl, bad girl, bad girl. And it flowered for 6 months, and during the hot weather, this is the only orchid I left in the house, and it blew its flowers. It had been 6 months anyway, so I wasn't too concerned because we had flowers for so long. So I kept saying I should check the pot. I've got quite a few orchids in glass pots, and some have a drainage hole in the very bottom, plus some air holes, and some have a sort of water well. So the first drain hole is probably an inch or two, no, probably 2 inches above the bottom. And we've just been trying to see the difference, and I have noticed a few things. And as time goes, I'll do a video on it. We've got enough that we can really see the difference. So this one, for instance, has never got algae because the water drains right out. Now the ones with the hole 2 inches up or so, they've been getting algae, and it has not hurt the orchids. I actually took 2 orchids out on watering day on Wednesday, yesterday, because they were all green, and I thought, I've got more and I want to do one in a video. But those 2, I just popped them out and their potting material, and I wiped with a paper towel the inside, cleaned the inside, and put them back. There was not one rotten root, and there's lots of signs of good growth. And I'll show you the 2 I did after, and they're outside, and I'll show you the ones that aren't done yet. So it's not a difficult thing to solve, and because it's glass, the roots aren't sticking to the container. Now, this one's got a couple little roots that are sticking out. It's got one here. Now, that should actually go back out because it's an air root, and I'll see if I can do that when I put it back. But I really wanted to check the pot because it's been in this one a long time. It's healthy. It has a nice new leaf coming. So I'm going to take it out of here without breaking anything. Now just a minute, there's a funny, I am a little bit of a, let me see, there's a little knick-knack here. I had this little spider. I do these things sometimes, so I just didn't want it to break anything. So let's take it out very carefully without hitting anything else. Maybe we'll go this way. Of course, this is the only one that's in a fancy container, and I'm not too sure how I'm going to do this. Probably, I haven't cut the stake off, so if I stick that out there and go this way, there we go. Okay, let's move that out of the way so we don't have it crash. So here we are, and this got a nice new leaf coming, It's got a nice new leaf, and it has root growth, and the roots are showing good signs from everything I can see. Now I have soaked bark for 3 days in case I need it. It looks to be there's some black lava rock in here too, but I did it November. So come November, that will be 2 years. So, but because it's the first one I did, and it's been so healthy, and it spiked and flowered for 6 months, I said we were going to check it. So that's what we're going to do. Now there's only one that has that aerial root there. So let's just put that there. Now there is no algae, and I think it's when you have water settling in the bottom that you got algae. I really don't think it's hurting anything. The other ones, I just left the roots how they were, but because this one's been in here so long, I thought I should just check it a little further. So the roots that are getting light because they're in glass, they are green. And the ones that are not, okay, we're going to be careful. And it's a good time to check it. It's still the growing season. And this way I can see how it has been, if I should have been checking more often. So far, all the roots are feeling very firm. And I just wanted you to see it plus me. So very nice root growth. Nothing is rotten at all. And I'm going to come around so you can see up close. Even some that were rotten when it was put in here, they have a little broad spot, but they're still healthy. So let's do a close-up. Okay. Now, see if I can get this very close. You can see how the top looks. And there's some nice growing sprouts. And you can see, now this is a root that was old and was like that. It has not got soggy. It stayed wonderful. There is no soggy roots in here. Now these are the ones that we're not getting any light. And you can see there's growth halfway down. There's growth on the bottom. I see nothing wrong. 2 years it's been in this glass container. Okay, that's I'm happy about that because I'm looking at the orchids that are outside, and I have to fix something on the camera. Make sure that nothing bad happens this time. There we go. Okay. There. So I do have a bucket of bark here. We're going to put there. And this is, I think this bark is the medium bark that was in here. It is not soggy at all. So having this drain, let's look at the pot closely now. So it's triangle, which is good because quite often when you get wet, rotten roots, they're in the bottom where water maybe isn't draining properly. This one has always had the water go right through every watering day. Now it has 1, 2, 4 holes halfway up and one on the very bottom. No algae. So we're going to compare that. We're going to look at the 3 orchids I got from Joanne from RoeHampton Orchids. And then we're going to look at the orchids I got from my daughter Rosemary on Mother's Day. All in glass and how they're doing. And they've all been outside putting up with 140 degrees. Now we do cool off at night to 60s, 70s because it's been so hot. And we had a week's reprieve of cooler weather. And now it started hot again, probably, we don't know for how long. So, I might as well just give this a little rinse. I got a little SOS test. Might as well, seeing I've got it here, give it a little clean. I am liking the glass. For some reason, they seem to be doing very well. But, you know, it's something you can't decide in a few minutes. It's something you have to look at over time. So this is the one that's been in the longest. So what we're going to do now is, watering day was yesterday. There is nothing dripping. Watering day was yesterday, and there's nothing dripping in here. There's nothing that feels real wet. And because it's been so hot, they get their full watering on Wednesdays, and then on Saturday, they get, I go with the watering can. I don't take them off the shelf. I just water them there. They all have bowls under them or something to catch the liquid. And it doesn't really matter too much because it is a patio out there and it is cement under the cheap linoleum we put down. So, yeah, so you can see, that's even too much. It is filling up this container. It has filled up, growing roots to just fit this container. So, I think it has been good. I like this shape. It's not easy to find a glass this shape. It's kind of like the traffic cones. Why did they do so good in the traffic cones? And I think it's the shape. So this one's going to get a little treat because it's going to get a little extra water. And it was watered yesterday. And to be honest, I am surprised. There's slight dampness in this, and that is all. And yet it goes until Saturday. Yeah. And then it doesn't get like a full watering. Oh, and what else I've been doing is my normal watering schedule. I use Kelly Magic, calcium and magnesium. I use a 1/4 teaspoon to a gallon of water every watering day. But because it's been so hot, and Rick from Rick Orchids, he says they are calcium hogs. And I actually I would say I've been using double that or even triple that. Because I was measuring it because I had a garden, and I put them all out on the patio, and then I go out with my watering can full. So I probably just squirt, this much. And I believe that is so true. And if I wasn't using the Kelly Magic, the extra calcium, they may not have done so good. Plus I have an old humidifier in that corner out there. But with the heat came higher humidity for some reason. And so we have had high humidity. I'm going to give it a little bit of water to help some of the bark settle. I haven't got enough in there yet. And you can see it drain out that bottom hole. So, when you repot an orchid with new bark, excuse me, make sure you're soaking that bark because it just won't hold water on watering day if it hasn't been pre-soaked and sort of allowed to collect some water. I found a little hole here, so I'm just putting this and I'm just hitting it. It smells woodsy. I smell, even a little musty, but nothing bad. Just, you know, natural. It smells natural. There, we're almost got everything that was in it back in it. Now, I don't think that'll hurt it at all. Excuse me. This weather's been bothering my sinuses, so you have to excuse that for a minute. It's just been so hot and dry, and then in the house it's been, I would say, averaging in the evening about 90 degrees. So it probably gets hotter outside longer, but then it cools off quick at night, and for longer period of times. That is the coolest place when we start opening doors and windows, because it's on the north side and it's shaded by the roof of the house. So okay, we did good. Now we're going to put it back into its home, and we're going to let it drip a bit if it wants to. There we go. It's nicely in, and I'm just going to slide it over there, and I'm going to put the tag back on it so I know. And it's just a no ID orchid, this one. Now the no ID orchids are all we get here, and they're raised for the average person, but really I find people are finding a lot more terminal spikes coming, because I think they've got smart. Oh, everybody's managing to keep them going for years and years and years, and we can't have that. We want them to buy more orchids. I think that's what's going on. So try not. I had bought one with a terminal spike, and it in the end did nothing, and it just went away. But now, let's do the ones Rosemary got me on Mother's Day. And so these have been in glass since I got them. And they're little glass, and they have the water well. And out in the hot sun, this one is Farh Sogo Relax. And in the hot sun, this one has got 2 flowers and held them both. And one is a little different. So I'm coming over to show you a close-up. It had a new leaf that's almost, well, half full growing. It has good root growth. Pardon me. But it does have a bit of green down there. And this, I also put they all came in moss from RoeHampton Orchids, and I switched to probably 2/3 bark and put 1/3 of the moss back in. And I'm going to slowly, when I check pots, take out some. And it'll slowly be so adjusted to this pot, it'll hardly notice. So I'm going to come and show you a close-up of these 2 flowers, because they're a little different from each other. Okay. Here we go. Okay, this is the second one that came. And it's kind of speckled. It's very pretty. And then this one, I got the right one yet, this one, is more of a solid color. Now I don't know, in the picture it looks like more like the other one, but I find the first one is more speckled, and the other one doesn't look speckled at all. Now leaves, here we are. They've been out in the hot sun, in glass, so the glass does heat up, and I'm going to show you inside. You can see the roots, and if that one's dry already, you can imagine these are. But these are holding some residue water in the bottom. You may see just a little bit in there. I tip it out, but it does keep humidity in there. And you can see the moss. Now these do not have the bottom hole like that one, but I do have some that do. And it is very healthy. So go relax. RoeHampton Orchids. So yes, it's flowered and it's kept them both. Okay. Then the other one from Rosemary. She got me 3, and one of them's a real surprise. Now I have to show you that one first. This is Falsheriana nobilis. And you know how bad I've done with them, because I have another one out there that had 1 leaf when I put it in glass. And guess what? It has a tiny leaf coming. And before that, they were just drying out too fast in the pots. And that's part of the reason I just decided to do this. But wait till you see this one. Okay, we have a new little leaf coming. Now this leaf has not grown the size of this, but this leaf was here when I got it. Now this is showing good root growth here, and we're going to look in the pot. And this in here is showing very good root growth. And you can see the roots are green, which is nice, so they're getting that extra bit of from the sun. And you can see in the bottom of this, I don't know if you can see, there is some water sitting in here. Yeah, I think you can see that. So that little bit of water in these small ones isn't making a difference. And I'm glad that we've got two orchids we've got the 2 choices, the one with the water well. And the reason I did that is because my oh, it slipped my mind. I'll show you when we go out there. Okay, so this was this was the other one I got from Rosemary. We'll put that over there. And then I got this one on Mother's Day, and it's Farh Tetris Purple Dream. And it had lost its flowers right away, and it's been out in the hot sun. It's a lighter colored leaf, but it's also getting, and yeah, this is a new leaf, but it said don't cut the spikes on these. So, because when they get happy, it says they will start flowering. And this is the spike where it dropped its flowers, but I think we're going to get a flower. So here we are in all this hot weather, and it has quite a few leaves. Seems to be doing really well, but I put a note, not cut spikes, because apparently this breed, they will keep reflowering at strange times if they're happy, and I think that's what's happening because that wasn't there. So, and this one is got some algae in here. I'm not worried about it because, like I said, I checked 2 pots and they were fine. And I do want to take you out in that hot weather. You won't get hot, but it will be hot. Okay, so the next one, now these are the ones that I just got from Joanne. She gave me a gift to shop at RoeHampton Orchids, and I had enough to buy 2 orchids, plus they sent me a free orchid. So I'm going to show you how they're all doing, and we're going to look at this one first. This is Young Lava, and I want to show you up close how it's doing. And these containers are a little bit bigger, and they hold water in the bottom. And this one I do not see a very slight bit of algae, but they haven't been in there as long as some. So, let's look at this one. I got to go around my counter. There's no other way for it. But, oop, I guess I better go this way. There's a nice little leaf coming. It just surprises me in this hot, hot weather. And I'm going to show you, it is starting to get dry in there already. You see some humidity though. There's nice growth. There's nice growth there. So these ones haven't been in as long, and you can see a root in here. So that's how they're looking. And believe it or not, I watered yesterday, and that's how hot it is here. But they do not seem to be mind going until Wednesday to Saturday. They do not seem to be minding that. So I'm going to put this one here, and this one here is, this is the little caloric gift. And I loved this, I just loved it. And so I'm going to bring that over so you can see up close. It did lose its flowers. They were gorgeous. I do love caloric orchids. I'll just slide this one here. And we can have a close-up here. So you can. It looks healthy. It has root growth. It has no algae. It's very dry in the bottom, but you can see here the roots are growing. They're coming out. So it hasn't like dried up or showed signs of drying up. And I want to show you outside the whole situation of how they're all doing, because believe me, I'm amazed. I am totally amazed, because apparently orchids do not like to get over 100. But I left them outside because the house doesn't cool off as quickly. The house doesn't cool off as quickly as it does outside. So I thought, okay, we're going to go with it. So I'm looking at my camera wondering what it's doing, because I have had problems. Now, I'm not sure. It's still recording, so it's red. Now, this one is the other one I got from Joanne. Now, this is Fel Ox Firebird, and it is a beginner orchid from RoeHampton, and the size is extra large, and there's no aroma to it. And it's Ox Blackjack crossed with the Phalaenopsis Walnut Belly Halo. That's what it is. Now, it had 2 spikes with blooms that have fallen off. When I watered the other 2, they came off. I can understand that, because it had the stress of the male, and it was in full flowers then. It arrived with all its flowers, and some had fallen off in the male. And then, well, with me, a few fell off. So, now this pot is a strange pot because of the bubble shape. And I actually squirt water into those side holes to make sure that those areas are getting a little bit moist, but they do dry quicker. Now, this has a bottom drain hole because all the 3 I just got from Joanne and RoeHampton Orchids have bottom drain holes. So that's one thing we want to see. I'm going to bring this over so you can see it, and then we're going to go outside. Actually, I can just send it over, and then it seems very happy. So it surprises me. I really am surprised, because I've had this heat. It gets to you, believe me. So, I don't know, my orchid's doing funny things, but I don't know why. Just click that. There, it went away. I think we're okay. Okay, you can see up close, it has a new leaf coming down in there. Now, whether you can see that or not, but it has a tiny leaf coming, and there's still, nothing has wilted. None of these leaves are wilted, and that's partially from soaking your bark. And seaweed extract, 1/4 teaspoon in, and 1/4 teaspoon of Cali Magic and seaweed extract when you soak the bark, because both those things are very good for your orchids. Now, before we go out, I have to show you this. Now, Jack saw this at a garage sale. This is crystal. It's just beautiful. And he thought you could put an orchid in it. And it was so beautiful. It was filthy dirty, I must tell you. It was filthy dirty. But then when I washed it, I thought it's so nice. And you know, no, we're not likely to serve anything in it, but you could put your wine in it or anything. But it does have one drainage hole. And if I was to find like a really nice, beautiful orchid, this pot will be an orchid pot. So we will see what happens. For $5, I keep looking at it. And I might have to talk to Rosemary, because being in Kamloops, they have more orchids over there. And Rosemary, if you're listening, and I would gladly pay you. So if you see an extremely beautiful orchid, I have a pot. Oh dear. She's got beautiful orchids, and I want her to do a short video and send it to me so I can show you. Okay, the sun is already coming off of this door, so let me just take the camera and take it out of there. Okay. There we go. Do this the safest way. That thing came up again. Okay, so let's go out. Now, as soon as I walk to this far, it's hot, and I want to show you. This is the shade cloth we got with our greenhouse, and we've never used it on the greenhouse. So I had sewed up the holes where the vents were, and you can probably see the squares. There was 3 vents, and I sewed them all up, and we put it up here. And so it does shade most of them. Now, I have the cataseum where it gets a little more sun. It gets watered every second day. And it is FDK After Dark Baker's Burgundy Smile. And this was my last year's growth, but I didn't get flowers. Now I'm fertilizing every second day because it says they love fertilizer. So I'm hoping this year flowers. So here's what's going on here, and you'll hear this humidifier. Thanks to this is another reason it's a big fan, and its cool air comes off. And those 2 jugs down there, one in there and one there, they're full of water. So I only have to replace that water every 2nd or 3rd day. So they seem to be doing. Now this is one of my older orchids. You can see the roots all down here. I've had it a long time. Now it started to grow funny shaped leaves. I don't quite know why. But here I have Georgia Pearl. It's Farh, HSIN Fantastic Pearl, but I call it Georgia Pearl because Georgia sent this to me from RoeHampton Orchids. And this is a new leaf, and it looks so healthy. And these 2 are both getting new leaves. I think with the extra calcium magnesium, so if you're in hot issues, now this orchid has good growth. The longer that little growth sprout is, you know that it's growing faster. And it has a nice new leaf. Now this is the one that broke off and I lost, and we weren't sure why, but I think it had a damage from the carpenters when they were here. But the last leaf is getting very nice size, and this one, so I do have a basil keiki. Now here's one of my older orchids. You can see the roots down the traffic cone, and they get quite dry, but there's good growth happening here. And a new leaf and a huge spike coming in all this heat. Now my basket, they're all doing good there. Now up here, you can see this one has algae. Well, I wiped the algae off of this one. It has a new leaf. So these are all in less time than the other one. Now this one I didn't clean. It has algae, and you can see roots inside doing quite well, and a new leaf. And this is one of the twins. I kept calling them the twins. I cleaned this one. It was totally fine. Good growth in there. Really good growth, actually. And I think it's doing better than its other twin in the porcelain pot, which is a little hard to get at down there in the purple pot. So look at the growth on this one. And this is in this heat, and I only watered yesterday, and they're getting dry already. It is so hot. So, oh, this is the one that had all these disease. It was that pyloric one I got. I loved it so much, but it had one new leaf that didn't grow full, which is quite common when they're suffering, but it does have a new leaf coming. And so here they sit, but with the humidity is saving them, and about 4 or 5 o'clock, the sun is on the other side, and it starts to cool out here a bit. But here's my Sherryana that was about ready to die, and I put her in this glass pot, and she has a new leaf coming. So I'm telling you, for 2 years this went on. I think it's 2 years. I don't know. Yeah, let me see. Here's the date. 2021. And I was doing nothing. It was dying. It was just doing nothing. I put her in this, as you know, in one of the last videos, and it's trying. And this is in this heat that's trying. So some are still in pots, and they dry out fast on the outside, but they're doing good. So basically that's the rundown. But I have a fan over here I'll put on after, and I have some dendrobiums over here, and we'll go outside and we'll check the thermometer, because our thermometer is in the shade and it's about 35. It's going to go way up. It's just over 90 in the shade, and I would say we'll probably be up over 100 before long. And in the glassed-in patio, then it's even more of an issue. So the birds come here. I notice the big birds come, like the crows and the ravens come, and they bring bread or things people are feeding them. So we've been eating tomatoes. We've been eating yellow beans, and there's lots. We're doing really well. I think if I hadn't had these raised beds, that we would be in trouble. It would be way too dry, but we are getting lots of produce. And I have big cabbages in here, all tied up. And yellow beans, which I should pick today, and green beans. And another cauliflower in there, and we've been getting strawberries every other day. And we keep the birds away this way. So, yeah, and when you're out in this sun, it is hot. Yeah, very hot. So, we quit feeding the hummingbirds because they were attracting too much bees, and I'm allergic, so. But we're getting lots of birds bathing, and I love that. We love to come out to the gazebo, and yeah, it's hot. And they stay for quite some time. So thanks for watching. Give me a thumbs up. I'm sorry, I will try and get on more, but sometimes my days just disappear on me. Bye for now. Love you all.